You can have a nomination, or you can just say whoever's going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do the roll call. Have you gone ahead and started the recording? We're started. So I'll do the roll call as we start and get you started up through that. And then we'll go ahead and let you select a temporary chair. And then you can take whoever's that then can take over for the meeting until you get down to electing a chair. Okay. So Mr. Postic's here, Mr. Pollack, Ms. Foy, Mr. Lake, and then Ms. Tomaso.
Every moment in life is a bet.
Right now.
Like betting on taking a hitchhiker tailgating.
So the people.
But life doesn't offer you up to $1,000 back in free bets if you don't win. So bet on America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel, and make every moment more.
All right. So.
Especially when they're a good team like the New York Giants. Here's the cheeky barber. Puts it back inside of a block and now goes outside the room to run. To midfield, runs over a potential tackler and ran over Charles Woodson. And this is going to wrap it up. And there goes McCoy through the Giant defense.
Hey, Cole.
And out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Napoleon Kaufman is in the backfield. He takes the handoff. And after a loading, Thomas breaks into.
For agenda items only from the floor, or am I off? Okay. Comments? Okay, comments for the agenda from the audience or others, public? Okay. Consider approving the agenda of the previous meeting. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, so it passes. So the agenda is approved. And approval of the minutes of the December meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
There is a motion to approve.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Second.
Oh, second.
Opposed?
Second here.
Second? Opposed? None. Okay, so that's approved. All right, the election of officers. The floor is open for nominations.
I nominate Wade Pollack for chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there a motion to close nominations?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor of Wade?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? None. Okay, so Wade, congratulations. You are now the the chairman of this committee, and therefore you may take it over.
For election of vice chair, I nominate
Peter Lake.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hearing none, no, any nays? No. So Peter is the vice chair for the year. Election of secretary, I'd like to nominate Caitlin Foy.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, congratulations,
Yeah.
Katie.
Thanks, Kate.
Yes, you got more work to do this year.
Okay. Public Works.
If I can, for just a moment, let you know, on January 30th, Monday night. Lighting all the chairs and chairs. Last year, kind of out of London meeting. Was comfortable with that, also get to know all the other chairs.
8 p.m. 8
PM, 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
And then at 7 p.m., we'll be having all the secretaries joining us. and we'll go specifically over with them how to get into the software. Caitlin, I believe you actually did it last year, so you probably at least, did you do it last year?
Might need a refresher.
Yeah,
It's
but-
just the meeting, but-
Yeah, okay, but we'll be going how to get into the software and do all of those kind of things. All members can come if they wish, but it's focusing on those positions. So that'll be January the 30th. I just wanted to let you know that. And we'll get information out to everybody that we're doing this, but it's really a training session to make sure everybody knows how to run a meeting, those kind of things. But thank you.
Mr. Sharretts, can you provide a public works update?
Sure. It's a brief update this time. During the month of December, there's not a whole lot of activity that takes place in the parks, but we still check them. We're actually finishing up Christmas tree collections now. We did leaf collection, et cetera, but we still got out to the parks. Obviously, the restrooms at Drexel Lodge have been closed. The water's been shut off there. We did finally, we've been trying for about 9 months now to get the bubblers repaired in the two ponds.
Oh, yeah.
They finally got fixed. We got a call from Weeds that the parts finally came in. So just in time for everything to freeze over, the bubblers are fixed and they're actually running now. I checked earlier today and they're running. So that was a positive thing. Winter's the time. So like during January, February, that's when you're going to see Public Works out in the parks doing tree trimming and making repairs and those kind of things. We're going to be patching the pavilion roof at Drexel Lodge and doing some other maintenance work out there. Some of the things that I reported on in the last meeting that finally came in, like the replacement mirrors for the play sets, those kind of things, we'll get them installed in the off season. We'll probably reopen the restrooms at Drexel Lodge in April, as long as once we know that the freeze has passed and there's no chance of the pipes freezing out there, we can get those restrooms back open again. The only other thing I guess I'll reference is going into 2023 and some of the budget items. As I had reported previously, we had requested that the money for the shade out at Brookside Park be moved into the 2023 budget. That was done. So we're working feverishly to get a couple proposals in front of you as to what that's going to look like. The same thing with the basketball court at Gable Park. The funds for the painting, the repainting of that and the mural there were moved into 2023. So we do want to move as quickly as we can in making those preparations.
Yes.
So that I could get new pricing on the materials and we could be ready to shut the basketball court down as long as we need to get the painting done before it gets really heavy. Although there were people playing basketball today and they've been playing for a couple weeks now. That is really our report.
The bocce court. Do we want to take a look at maybe putting some laurels or some other natural?
Some plantings out there. Yeah, absolutely. I know that Steve, it had been one of the recommendations that there be some plantings out there and absolutely, you know, I think we bring in who we want to and we look and see what we want to order and install it.
Yeah.
Have we ordered benches also?
So the benches are on order. I think they said it was about a 4 to 6 week delivery time period. So definitely before we will be ready to open them up for the season, the benches will be installed.
You want me to stop and see Steve Mastardi and take him over there and see what he might suggest the plants there, not necessarily buy it off of him, but just have him.
I think that would be great. And if you'd like me or one of my staff to join you,
Okay.
we'd absolutely do that.
All right. So, old business, item 10.1, update information regarding the potential Sawmill Road and Aspen Drive park plans. And again, this falls on Mr. Sharretts. Did you want us to go, Steve?
Actually, I think I'm gonna
Okay.
take the lead on this one,
Okay.
just so. So if you'll recall, I believe probably 2 meetings ago, you had an opportunity to kind of see an initial idea, maybe even been 3 actually now that.
3, I think 2 meetings ago, we kind of gave our,
Gave your recommendation. Yeah, so it was before you kind of the idea of what we're trying to do out there space wise. And then you gave some feedback to the engineer. The engineer is now taking that feedback and starting to build a plan. We've also gone out with, we've gone out for a grant related to the stormwater piece of that, and also for widening the road there at that spot at 252 and the mouth of Sawmill. And so that's what we've gone out for the grant for, to try to get that piece done, but at the same time, we're looking at what we're going to do in the park. And so as we start getting that information, we'll look for grants to also help us fund putting in whatever, what you've decided, but how it fits now that we've gotten the stormwater a little bit further down and it developed.
So when would that stormwater be addressed? That would be prior to doing any recreation?
That is correct, because part of that stormwater will require us to do some actual grading on the site. But the whole idea right now, I've asked the engineer to go back and take the ideas that you had and see how they would fit on that site with what he's done for stormwater.
Okay. Thank you. And item 10.2, discussion and possible action regarding 2023 spring park and recreation events. And I assume that this would include any efforts on our part, not only events, but improvements. So I think one of the things that was pretty successful we did last year was Caitlin organized the chalk art event, and in doing research for the train museum festival, I went on a site, I can't remember the name of the place, but it was local entertainers of all varieties out there, and they offered very reasonable prices. Some of them were like $120 for a couple hours worth of work. They're fairly local, so they can get there quickly. So I don't know whether we want to expand on the chalk art and maybe add a couple other events and work in conjunction with the libraries, what I thought, because their following is just really great. They've done all the work that we would need to do to get a following behind us. Just attach ourselves to that following and work with them to create we're need to get people out to the parks. This would get the kids out to the parks. They'd be meeting kids from other neighborhoods in our community. So I thought that might be something that we could do some research on.
Thinking of having the chalk art again at the Newbie Park.
I don't know that it would necessarily need to be there, but we need something.
We talked a little bit last month.
Desiree, can you turn your mute off,
What we
please?
could do for 2023.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Would we either do the Newbie again, or would we move it to another park? That wasn't answered. That was just about, thanks, Pete. So doing that event again, whether it's at Newbie or somewhere else at another park, is up for debate. And then
We're going to interrupt for just a second. Desiree, can you hear what's being said?
I can hear. Hello, everyone. Thank you. I can.
Whoops. We just lost you. Sorry. Hold on a second. Try again.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm excited to be part of the group. Hello, everyone. Sorry I couldn't make it tonight, but I can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure because we just got to be able to hear her. I wanted to make sure she could still hear us. So I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt.
no, that's fine. I'm trying to think of what the other, we said that potentially maybe we had talked about T-ball with ball tournament.
With balls or disc golf. Yeah, finally,
Right.
after 4 years.
And I think we're going to do that in conjunction with the concert if we have another. So
Can we get that kids concert back in?
it's all still on. We're going to do it in the spring, I think, rather than the fall. We need to work with the Railroad Museum to work out the details, but I believe spring is targeted for the opening of the Railroad Museum.
Right, but the theme was a family fun day. Not
Yes.
necessarily a concert. Concert. And for the kids. Music for the kids would fit into the family fun day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were, the kids band was actually part of that,
The fun day.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the-
And that would be at Drexel Lodge.
Drexel Lodge, would that be maybe like a May event?
So at the last meeting, you had thrown out the idea of a May event, so that you're not waiting until June. Again, Newtown Square Historic Day is the first Saturday in
Oh, that's
June, so we don't want to compete with that. But the idea of maybe having an event in May is what you had thrown out, and it seemed like a great idea.
And it's going to benefit, you know, all the proceeds would still go to the Railroad Museum from that event, but is the Railroad Museum going to be open? We can,
So once we have a date, I'll bring it back to them
Okay.
and ask them, but I'm sure they will. I mean, they knew that the idea was going to be to try to do it in May.
Last year we did the newbie event, the water ice, the chalk art and the pretzels. That was in April. So maybe that's a good time to do that since it's a small event and then it would lead up to the May collaboration with the train museum. So maybe either at like newbie or Gable or,
so if we do the chalk art, I'm guessing we're going to need a surface to
yeah,
do it.
we could host it at newbie. I mean,
Could we do it at Gable?
I was just thinking, do we need to kind of move around the
Yes,
above?
yes, and I agree with that, yeah.
To
Do it
capture all,
under the pavilion. And
yeah, the pavilion, move those tables out,
move the tables, it's a perfect surface.
even if it rains.
Great surface for that.
Yeah,
Rain or shine.
right.
Yeah.
Well, that would be nice if we added, if we have chalk art, then we don't have to have a rain date.
Right.
Right. And that actually could be combined with the family fun day.
Yeah.
Might be too much.
It could be with concert.
Yeah. yeah,
I think,
because
I think
yeah.
we'll need the pavilion for the concert in case it rains.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right.
Do you think it's okay to do a small event in April at Drexel and then, you know,
We can't do it at Greer, we can't do it at Brookside.
yeah, there's just not enough parking.
There's no surface to.
Oh, no surface, yeah.
George and I were just discussing that concept that, what if if you were trying to highlight another one of our parks that's different than Newbie? We don't have a lot of spaces where we have a spot where they could do that. Like Newbie's got a perfect spot because you have the basketball court.
Basketball.
But what we thought is maybe, what if we got a very large canvas or tarp kind of thing, and instead of doing it with chalk, maybe did it with paint or something, and then we would actually hang it up and in the park as kind of an attention getter. I mean, it's just an idea if you're wanting to try to do a different park. We're trying to come up with something creative that allows you to do something that's a little different and if need be.
One of the things I thought of is, and I've never brought it up, was, we got canvas and took it to the elementary school. They could actually do the work themselves, but I think we want the kids out in the park, so we probably want to do it there. They could paint it and we could hang it in the front of the pavilion. Just, if you screwed in a couple of hooks and put some, toggle,
Eye bolts.
Eyebolts.
yeah, eye bolts and then, holes in the fabric.
Yeah.
I can't remember. what they're
Little
called.
clips,
Yes.
little clips. Yeah.
So like
You could hang
a
it.
banner for the pavilion.
Yeah, like a
that the
banner, turn it into a
community-
banner, yeah.
That sounds nice.
There's another thing at Drexel. We actually have, it would be a very colorful park that we put up, Drexel Lodge Park.
And it was, yeah, we show as soon as
Maybe
we
even
walk
to
in.
get the teachers, art teachers out. Seem to have a good time with the,
To do outlining, to do like theme.
yeah, to do the outline and then bring the kids in and fill them in.
Yeah, we want the kids to do the actual work, for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just not sure how many we want. And do we want this like Culbertson, or do we want to reach out to another school for that effort? We've worked with the public schools.
How about St. Annie's?
St. Annie's is, what grades are they?
They're elementary, right?
That'd be good. Can we try St. Annie's?
Yeah, they'd love it. Those little kids would love it.
I think we should try and, reach out to different, we've gone to different daycares, but not another school per se. And I don't know how many kids we would want there either. It's not gonna be that big of a thing.
A bigger one, yeah.
May-
Banner.
Maybe we could do Drexel Lodge Park, have the banner there, have the paint set up. Have maybe St. Annie's art teacher, Culbertson's art teacher, see if they would want to come. Kids will be there.
I'll
Well,
just
and-
do it for anyone.
And then maybe they could do handprints or have a, I don't know. Work on a portion of the banner or something so that it,
Well, it's for the kids and the family. They won't care about detail. And that's fine.
Mhm.
Whatever mess they make on it is fine.
Color,
Right.
right, color.
Yeah.
Live color, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They'll get half of it on
Something-
themselves and
something
half of it on the
abstract.
banner.
Right.
That's a good one.
It'll be great
Good.
fun.
I can tell we're gonna be loved.
Yeah, right. And then we're gonna bring ice cream for the end of it.
Just throw the clothes away when you get home.
Yeah, that's right. Hose them off. When I get in the car.
All right, so is it a done deal then, May? For the family fun event?
Oh, yeah, I think that's what we're targeting, yes.
the train museum collaboration
And,
for
Schlag
men
Art-
Is there-
Schlag Art in, April?
in April. Yep.
And we
Sounds
can,
good.
we can nail down the specific date at February's meeting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'll do some research on some canvas. And
Great.
The grommets.
Yeah,
I actually
grommets.
have the grommets.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we would
you
need.
make them, you can make, yeah.
I think
Grommet
you
tool.
order the canvas fairly cheaply online and we probably have enough paint. If we clear coat it, it would last a much.
So we're gonna do chalk art in April. At DLP under the pavilion. In May, we're shooting for Family Fun Day at Drexel Lodge with a concert. And what other,
Well, the May event will pretty much mimic what we had planned for
earlier?
October first.
So
Exactly.
maybe disc golf there. I'd like to set that up because George bought all the discs.
So we would then do
What
a.
about that train? We're gonna have a train out there too, right?
Oh, and the train?
All that will
In
still
May.
be in effect. Well, I don't know.
Once,
about the
once
check.
we have a date, then we can check on the availability of the little train person. And I mean, obviously, you're gonna need to check on the availability of the band for whatever date you select.
Yes.
Right.
And the other,
Yeah, we'll try to mimic as best we can, knowing that most likely once the date is selected, some people might be booked already. And then in September, is that when there's usually another concert?
so, yeah, that's normally when we would do it. Are you guys okay with another
Yeah,
concert?
sure, yeah.
Yep.
I'd love it.
Then we'll have a whole year to worry about that.
Sounds good.
When does the Rose Tree concert run? It run in September or what?
I think it's done by the mid-August, end of August.
When kids get back to school.
So I don't think there'll be any
What if you take it
competition if we're in September.
And then, we can always add stuff.
Sure.
I don't think we were able to do a teen mental health event last year, but we came close. We talked about it, so maybe we could try.
I think we were going to
This
target the wiffle ball.
Oh,
toward-
that's great.
toward
Okay, great. That's
Young
right.
adults and
That's right.
late teens,
Perfect.
because it's a group we've never kind of reached.
And that's gonna be the May one, right?
I don't know when the wiffle ball tournament would be.
I'm gonna have to reach back out to,
Yeah.
No,
yes. He was really happy to do it.
Oh, with,
so depending on their availability.
He said he would work it in no matter what.
that's with Rich Eno, right?
No, I can't remember his name.
Were you working with Darren?
Yes, that's, yes.
Darren?
Yeah, good guy, he's a very nice guy.
We're, George, how does, are we gonna do a park cleanup the way we've done in the past, and which park?
Sure. So usually there's two watershed cleanups that are scheduled. One of them's the CRC and the Chester Ridley Crum Watershed Association sponsors one. And that is traditionally at Drexel Lodge because they're doing that waterway. There's other sites that they do along the waterway, but Drexel Lodge is the one that's in Newtown. Then there's the Darby Creek Valley Association are the ones that handle the cleaning along Greer Park, Brookside Park, and I think Wade, you were suggesting that they look at Newby as well.
Yes, there was smaller cleanup at Newbie, yes. And they suggested doing it at the same time, but we could still do it at another time if we choose.
But those two watershed associations drive when the date is. They just notify us when they're looking to schedule it, and then we help promote it and try to get volunteers for them.
Last year it was scheduled for April 2nd and they don't have 2023 dates listed on their website yet.
I was contacted by the church that Judith goes to, Springton, and the youth group guy wants to get his kids involved in the community. But he was saying more after the kids get out of school. But I don't think we do anything in the summer like that, do we? Like he was thinking community involvement of some nature.
Yeah.
Is
I
that-
don't know of anything currently that's scheduled for the summer, but we'll be working on a couple different projects that I know we're going to be trying to do. Some tree plantings and things like that.
Yes, right.
Typically, they're in the spring and or the fall. That's the best time.
Right.
So I don't, it may be something that we would just say, here's the times that we have. Or if they wanted to do a cleanup in the summer, I'm sure we could come up with a plan that would work or something.
Yeah, thank you. I'll get a hold of him and tell him. Can you, if as plans develop, can you just make sure I'm in the loop on that?
Yep.
Thanks.
I guess we'll move on to item 11, public comment. Any? Right, items for the next agenda. So I guess we should, what's coming up first? In April. That the
Chalk art.
chalk art.
Mhm.
We should probably put that on the agenda.
We want to make sure we have food,
For
the pretzels and water ice.
Water ice.
And
And somebody that actually wrecks the truck art like that woman did, she did a wonderful
She was
job.
fabulous, yeah.
Got all the kids involved and stuff and showed them what to do and
Mhm.
really worked.
yeah, she was a big help, yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
Do you still have her information?
Yep,
Caitlin?
I have all of her contacts, yeah.
Policeman with the dog.
Oh, yeah, boy, was it
Officer
Boya?
Boyd.
Boya?
Yes.
Yep.
What a good dog.
Should we try them again or?
No.
They were a big hit, Officer Kine and,
If they're available, I mean, I'm always happy for them to get exposure because I think that's what people need to understand.
Fire truck.
Oh,
Well, they
Never appeared.
had training same day that they just couldn't get there.
Right, so maybe we can check and sure that they know in advance.
Fire
I mean,
truck.
it was a good reason they weren't there,
Yes.
but. they
The
weren't there.
weather was beautiful.
It was
Yeah, that's
perfect.
right. it
We
was.
did not have any rain date.
Yeah.
Or anything planned for that, so I don't know if maybe that's something that we start to consider, or, I don't know.
Would we want to move it to Drexel Lodge? instead of Range?
I mean, we had the tent for the water ice and the pretzels.
Mhm.
We don't know how many people would have come out if it was,
You can't do chalk art in the rain.
the part would have been literally a wash. So. I don't know, a lot of times when we're booking entertainment, that's, they're paid rain or shine because they save that day, so. I don't know if
Desiree, you should be just able to chime in if you had, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt anyone. I'm just wanted to ask someone from the committee if they would be willing to, speak with me sometime over the next week or so for half an hour, just to get me caught up on everything you've been doing over the last year. And so I can, hit the ground running and be as helpful as I can.
Yeah, I'd be happy to get your contact information and reach out.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, anyway, Stephen has my information, or I can, get it to you through the township.
Yeah, we'll get the information. We'll share.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Yes, welcome.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Items for next agenda, so we'll just add the chalk art event. Is there anything else we want to add for next time that we need to get?
George, do you think you might have a date by next meeting for May for the train, or maybe that's too soon?
So I'd almost, I will go back and let them know that we're looking at it and make sure that really all the dates are open. It's probably best if you drive when you think the best date would be. But I'll verify that there's all the dates, that all those weekends are available. And if there's anything that's missing, we can finalize it at the next meeting.
So we'll add that to the agenda.
Well, couldn't be 27th,
No, Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, so it's gonna have to be 6, 13, or 20. May 6, 13, or 20. It's Memorial Day, 27.
All right.
Maybe that's good to have 2 days to bounce.
Well, maybe something
13 or-
late August or late April. Can't
This
do
is for
too
what,
much.
Peter? I'm sorry. Family fun day or?
Yeah, family fun day. And the concert and all
Or maybe May 6th.
that. Yeah,
May 13th is Mother's Day weekend. I
you
don't
don't
know
wanna
if that
do
would be
that.
a draw, or people might be busy.
So why don't we just put down 6th or
May 6th or
20 or
20.
20th,
May,
6 or 20.
and I'm gonna reach out to the band first.
Yeah, see if
Great.
they're available.
You know what I thought of, which is be very simple, would be for one of the parks to have a sprinkler event, so kids could run into some sort of fountain type thing
Yeah.
and get soaked. And the firemen could actually configure something that would be safe and also fun
Mhm.
for the kids. And you could do that at Brookside.
Do that like when it's hot out,
Yeah.
like in July or
June or
June
July.
or July.
Yeah.
Good idea.
You want to have something for the summer, you might even get some teenagers that get in there,
Yeah.
especially in their bathing suit.
Even any liability on slip and slide.
That's
for the
really-
project.
That's really liability, but I was gonna say, you might even find some adults that show up.
Well, how about if the water truck comes around and somebody leans out the window and just shoots them all with the water?
I'm sure we can, obviously there's liability, but it's a lot less liability than a pool, so I think we could figure it out.
Oh, yeah,
It's
You're
not
saying
fun.
like on the field at Brookside, the
Yeah.
sports field, which is flat and
yeah,
couldn't cause too many problems.
something that's configured into a fountain,
Yeah.
Use the goalpost perhaps.
or even a wall of water. There are a number of things in other cities. I was in Chicago, where they have, right down on the lakefront, there's a fabulous park. And, where they have a fountain and they have like a created, water. And the kids just
Just run
love
under
it.
it,
They
yeah.
run into it, and get all wet and run out of it and then run it back into it.
Yeah.
They're on a surface though. They're on some type of surface. We would need to create some kind of safe surface that wouldn't get too muddy and ruin the field.
All money, all dirt, that's all.
I mean, sounds like a great
Yeah,
idea.
it's a very
Get
good
some
idea.
kind of
I
water
I think
event.
the biggest key would be, for environmental purposes, is there a way for us to creates kind of like a circulation kind of thing, depending on how long you're doing it for.
So the water's not wasted.
So the water's not just wasted. Yeah,
Hmm.
that would be the biggest thing, because our environmental folks would be concerned about that side.
Yeah, that's right.
That sounds fun. We could Google something that's
Yeah.
a water event.
Probably make something pretty cheap with
Yeah.
PVC piping.
Oh, yeah.
Like some sort of PVC piping with holes.
Right.
Yeah, that you just
The
pick
fire-
that water up.
Fire people will probably have great ideas.
They would. They know water.
They know what.
Yeah, they do. Good idea though, Bill.
Just a thought.
Yeah, good one.
So what does she think? Like water?
Oh, maybe, we had talked about for early spring bocce ball opening ceremony. That would probably be before the April chalk art event
Yeah.
I don't,
or near.
will you be ready then, George? And
Early April?
when does the league start?
Let me find out from Rich Enel when they start their leagues up. We'll certainly have the furniture by that point. I think, depending on what we determine about the plantings. That would certainly be in place at that point. They might not look that great that early, but we'll get them watered in and planted. Signage ought to be up at that point, so. Yeah, I don't see a limitation come that time of year for opening it.
Yeah. I think that's enough time to get something together.
Maybe April.
We discussed putting signage up with the rules.
Yeah, George had nice, I think that was last month. George,
Yes.
Printed out.
Yeah,
signage. It
It's a
looked
really beautiful
nice,
sign.
yeah.
I may have brought them with me. Wait, I'll show them to you. It's a straightforward bocce ball rule sign that I think we can recreate and put up there.
Really well designed.
Where are the bocce ball courts?
Drexel Lodge Park,
Okay.
as you drive into the park, they'll be on your left along with two horseshoe pits.
Great, thank
Desiree,
you.
They were built during the last year. They haven't been
Okay.
opened up yet because the
Okay.
grass needed to stabilize and we had to finish the benches and those kind of things. But the courts themselves were built. It's basically at Drexel Lodge, next to the soccer field / next to the train museum.
Yep, I know exactly where that is. Thank you.
Great.
And George in the Public Works Department built those for our community.
Wonderful.
Good job.
Thank you. And where are we considering pickleball? I just saw that on the agenda.
Wiffle ball,
No, pickleball.
oh, pickleball, sorry, misheard.
So that would be the new site, perhaps. If not, it would go somewhere else. It's something that's very much in demand. We're well aware of it, and so are the supervisors and the township manager.
Okay, thank you. Great. I'm looking forward to, getting to know all this. Thank you.
And so I guess we're adjourned.
All right. Thanks, Wade. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Kate.
Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Desiree.
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 Looking forward to meeting you in person.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to meeting you too. Okay, have a good night and I'll talk to somebody soon.
Okay.
I guess I'll talk to, you'll reach out.
We'll get some contact information out. I made some notes. We'll get
Okay,
that out
great.
this week. And then
Okay.
you guys